I am the literacy coordinator for Headcase.
I teach fourth grade language arts here at Headcase Elementary. I have 4 rotations of classes. I have the GT cluster group in one block, and then I have our special ed group in another block. The other 2 are kind of the mixed ability classes.
I'm an instructor here at Alvin ISD.
I'm a teacher.
I am a junior high theater arts teacher at Harvey Junior High in Alvin, Texas.
I'm a teacher. I work at Manville High School. I teach 9th grade world geography and AP psychology, so I teach all 4 grades.
I am an English teacher for Manville High School.
Okay, I teach a professional communication class that teaches people how to communicate well in a professional way.
I see my role as a teacher to design lessons and create activities to lead the students from where they start when they come into my classroom to where they should be, or as far as I can get them throughout my school year and my time as a classroom teacher in reading and writing.
My first role is to build a relationship with kids. If I don't have a relationship with them, then I can go no further.
Obviously, I teach content. My primary function is teaching these students, writing and the grammar involved and the mechanics of it all. But more than that, I'm also kind of like, for a lot of these kids, mother, father, counselor, goodness, nursing, a friend, someone that they can confide in. It's just not just a teacher. A lot of times, getting to know these kids and developing these relationships, which is necessary for them to learn and want to learn from me, I have to put a lot of energy into that relationship. But it's kind of like that double-edged sword. If I don't take the time to develop that relationship, they're not going to listen to me and learn the content. If I just shove the content down and they know that I'm not vested and I'm not interested and I don't care about them, they're not going to learn.
My role as a teacher is starting to change a little bit. I'm not only just the giver of information, I'm more of a facilitator.
The 3 things that I do are plan first, modify for the class as it's going, and change whatever you're doing to meet the needs of the specific students that you have at that point.
You've got to go over your lesson plans and know exactly what you're going to teach and what your goal is for the day. But more importantly than that, on a daily basis, you have to reach out to your kids and you've got to make sure that you welcome them every single day and that you're flexible. And
I think a teacher has to be extremely focused on his or her job. Number 2, have a strong moral sense of what is right and wrong. And 3, think, be able to think.
I would say the 3 major things that the teacher does is, I think is very important, is plan. Number 2 is you have to be good at relationships and speaking to people and communicating. And the 3rd major thing that I would say you have to do is be very flexible.
This is my 15th year teaching, and I think that a lot of things have changed, but our biggest change has been just our technology that teachers have, that teachers are able to use. 15 years ago, the big technology was an overhead and transparencies. And yesterday at our training, we were really talking about digital literacy and how important that is to our kids, and the access that the kids have to technology today. And that's a big obstacle for a lot of teachers that have been teaching for a while, is being able to utilize the technology out there.
Okay, well, first of all, just the wealth of materials and resources that we can access at any given moment, huge shift in trying to accelerate the curriculum. When I first started teaching, yes, we had testing, and we were accountable. But if kids were struggling, we took the time to stop, back it up, and scrap everything and start over from step 1. And we built upon that step until they had it, and then we built on the next step. Now, a lot of times, because of the pressure with trying to get through all the testing that has to be done, I feel like we don't really have the time to back up and make sure that the foundations are in place before we're moving over. And I feel like we're kind of like band-aiding from one step to the next step. And there's really no true understanding of what they're supposed to be learning or how to apply that new learning.
One of the biggest changes is the technology available. I used to do notes on the chalkboard with chalk, and then I got an overhead, which was very exciting, and today we have Promethean boards and not so much notes anymore. It's a lot more interactive with the students, trying to come up with creative, interesting activities to keep them engaged rather than just writing, because they don't, their brains don't work that way anymore. They're used to being plugged in.
And the way it's changed is actually quite dramatic, because what was taught back then was really just reading, writing, arithmetic kind of thing. They really didn't do speech and things like that much in the schools, and especially in the schools that I taught in. And the way in which it was taught was 100% lecture, and there was, here's what it is, much like college is today. And so it had not changed to that. Plus, the other thing was, we didn't have air conditioning and things like that as well.
In the future, I think technology is going to make major changes for not only the kids, but for the teachers. For example, like textbooks. We're not going to have textbooks in 10 years. It's all going to be digital. It's all going to be online.
What do I see teaching in the future? I mean, I can't wrap my head around that. I mean, if you were to ask me that 25 years ago, I would never have been able to even imagine that I can sit down at this little black square and type away on all these little things, because back when I first started, it was like the manual cha-ching, and, you had to start everything over 15,000 times because there was no autocorrect. I'm sure, and it's already happening in some places. I see teachers eventually leaving the classroom. It's all going to be like sitting and watching this streaming of, somebody 1,800 miles away teaching us on this video monitor, and everything we do is just submitted electronically, and paper pencil is going to be a thing of the past. It's so funny because I was just a few minutes ago I needed a vis-a-vis. Well, nobody uses vis-a-vis because we don't have overheads anymore, and here I am old school, I needed a vis-a-vis. Those type things are slowly going to be disappearing, and I don't know, because it's just going to be all, I think, electronic. That's what I kind of foresee.
Yeah, I'm only 29, but I struggle at technology and incorporating it in the classroom. The BYOD initiative, I think, is a really cool thing. I think over time, though, we'll see more and more technology come into the classroom. Me personally, I would think it'd be great if we had like a Kindle or some type of e-reader in the classroom, and get rid of textbooks. Hey, it'd be awesome to have a current piece of information for the kids to use, not having a textbook that's 10 years old. I do think that we'll go to a more technologically integrated classroom.
The future is now. I think we are implementing a lot of the facilitation aspects of teaching. What we do now is like I said, we give them information that we would like for them to learn. We give them the tools, which is the laptops or their personal devices, their cell phones, and they go out and they find that information, so they start educating themselves.
I would say in 10 years, the role of a teacher is going to be more and more towards the role of a facilitator of information and knowledge. Of course, the teacher is always going to be needed to provide a one-on-one relationship with students. No student wants to sit in front of a computer and learn all day by themselves. Less out of the textbook and more out of solving real-world problems and how to make connections in the classroom with the real world.
I don't think the teacher's role will change at all, personally. We will use more technology in the classroom. The technology will be more useful in the classroom, I should say. Right now, technology, we have the technology, but it's difficult to be useful because of technical difficulties, such as too many laptops trying to work at the same time is an issue and things like this. But the human teacher is not going to be replaced.